This is a journey. Greetings and salutations, people of the YouTube Nation. You are now listening to the premier voice for entertainment and information. Alright, so after watching Blue Lock,
決めたぞイトシさえ俺はお前とずっとサッカーをするお前といると味わったことないビンビンが手に入る
What do you mean by that?
What is this throbbing?
I decided that I'm gonna watch every association football anime ever made. Because why not, right? I started off my list with Clean Freak Aoyama Kun, which is about this boy named Aoyama, who is actually the start of his high school team. The thing about him is, though, that he is extremely germaphobic, which is very interesting, as you might imagine, right? It makes for very interesting scenarios where he's trying to avoid getting dirty or coming into contact with germs, while at the same time playing organized sports. So he never goes for headers. He tries to avoid doing anything that's going to get him dirty in the field. That includes, challenging for the ball. And he developed a style that allows him to weave through players. He's basically like Messi, right? In that sense, that allows him to not get dirty. And if he does get dirty, he becomes like this zombie and almost passes out in a way. Right? And the thing about this anime, though, is that it's not really so much about the game itself. It's more about kind of like a slice of life situation, right? Because you have all these different side characters. Like, for example, I forgot her name, but you have this person who has a crush on Aoyama ever since like the fifth grade or something. And it was kind of creepy because she kind of became like a stalker kind of situation, right? And then she was even sneaking into the clubhouse in order to clean Aoyama and the other boys clean their lockers. But she also left like little kittens, or she also left little like stuffed cats for him to find, which was kind of a bit creepy, right? And you also have like one-off characters that barely appear later, right? Like there's this one mangaka that is also part of their high school, and he was kind of like obsessed with Aoyama because he figured that because Aoyama is so popular, right? And he doesn't really care about that, by the way. He's just being himself. That you have all these people like the girl that I mentioned earlier, she was doing things for him. He figured that Aoyama had to be like this despot that was bossing people around for no good reason, right? So he made him into a villain in his own comic book, which is kind of like a really meta. But then the character that Aoyama was based off for his manga, he ended up being very popular, which is kind of ironic in its own sense, right? And then you also have another boy, which is a real character, right? So his thing is that he likes to do keepy ups with his butt.
Huh?
Right? I don't know how he does it, but that's just his thing, right? So yes, all in all, Clean Freak Aoyama Kun is less about the sport itself and more about like the relationships that these kids have, which is cool, right? Not every anime has to be like a super intense rivalry or I want to be like the very best in the world like no one ever was. It doesn't have to be like that. So I really appreciate it from that perspective. And they don't really have any like big training montages or they don't really talk about tactics or any of that nonsense, right? Who cares about tactics? And just because the coach, she's not even a player. She was not even a player herself. She was actually a judoka and ended up coaching the team because why not, right? I mean, not saying that you have to have played before in order to coach a team, but it does help if you actually, watch the sport and follow it and all that good jazz. But I guess not, right? And you also have some other characters, like I think one character who likes to show off his abs for some reason. He's part of a rival team that wanted to recruit Aoyama to his team so they could make it to nationals, right? Because you always have to make it to nationals in these anime um, about high school sports, right? So that's their thing. They always gotta make it to nationals. And all in all, I think I'd say that this anime is really cool. I like it. Do I recommend it? I mean, if you love to watch the sport, not really. I think it's just I recommend it for anybody that likes these like slice of life type anime. People in high school, just going on about their lives and all that good jazz. I think it's a good anime.